Well, folks, it appears that there is more to be found at Patriot Battery Metals' Shaakichiuwaanaan property in Quebec. After announcing the possibility of a new discovery in early March, the company on Wednesday officially confirmed that another discovery has been made at their flagship property. But it's not lithium. It's a much more rare metal, which is found on most critical mineral lists. Cesium. Let's dive in. Patriot on Wednesday confirmed that they have what they deem to be a large high-grade deposit of cesium at their Shaakichiuwaanaan project. The announcement itself, a follow-on to a March 3rd announcement that some level of cesium was present at the property, served to expand on initial claims that considerable cesium enrichment was present. Following the receipt of further assay results, it has been confirmed that two separate zones of cesium mineralization are present at the CV13 pegmatite, with the cesium found within pollucite. The first cesium-containing zone is coincident with the high-grade lithium vega zone, where cesium mineralization has been traced over a footprint measuring 600 meters by 400 meters. Cesium mineralization here ranges from half a meter to over 10 meters thick. A total of 11 holes here have been found to contain cesium levels worth highlighting, with intercepts including 2.7% cesium over 18 meters, 1.6% cesium over 9.6 meters, 4.9 cesium over 11.1 meters, and 5.5% cesium over 7.4 meters, among other results. While channel sampling on surface intersected 3 meters of 9.4 cesium. Mineralization here is said to be 125 to 150 meters below surface, with the zone remaining open to the northwest. The zone is also accompanied by both high-grade lithium and tantalum. Slightly to the south of Vega is the high-grade Rigel zone, which has been traced across a footprint measuring 200 meters by 80 meters. While only 13 holes here have identified cesium mineralization, intercepts include 13.3 cesium over 5 meters, 10.2% cesium over 3.2 meters, and 11.2% cesium over 5.9 meters. So the mineralization here is quite a bit higher, even if the zone is only half as thick at the total width of 5 meters. Results here are said to represent some of the highest grades of cesium reported globally in recent years, while the mineralization was intersected at depths of just 50 meters. Like Vega, cesium mineralization here is said to be associated with high-grade lithium and tantalum. Not wanting to be left out of the newly found party, the CV5 pegmatite also reportedly contains an area of cesium mineralization, albeit at lower grades than what is found at CV13. Distribution of cesium here is said to be wider than at CV13. However, distinct zones of the metal are less apparent. Patriot has stated that it needs to review its data more closely here than at CV13, given the density of drilling that has occurred here to further determine continuity and zonation. Intercepts here include 1.3% cesium over 10.5 meters, 1.2% cesium over 9 meters, and 1.4% cesium over 7.5 meters. A total of 8 holes were identified as having hit cesium mineralization at CV5 so far that were worth highlighting, with those bits of mineralization found sporadically across the length of the pegmatite. Well, multiple holes were found to contain some level of mineralization, but not enough worth highlighting, which basically backs up the notion that the company needs to look at its assay results a bit closer here to see what's going on. Now, normally we wouldn't bother to cover a new discovery in a video, but this one is a bit different. Cesium isn't exactly common. In fact, there's only a handful of mines globally that are extracting the metal, at least that we know of. As it stands, there are 3 cesium mines globally, and only one that is currently producing. There's the past-producing Sinclair mine in Western Australia, which hasn't produced the metal since January 2019. There's also the past-producing Bikita mine in Zimbabwe, which was picked up by a Chinese firm known as Sinomine Resources in early 2022. And then there's the Tanco mine in Manitoba, which boasts 2/3 of the known cesium reserves globally. Current reserves at the mine are about 350,000 tons, while production data isn't really known on account of the mine being privately owned by Sinomine Resources. Yep, the same Sinomine that also owns Bikita, which means a single corporation is responsible for the global production of cesium, and it's a Chinese company at that. Which, given the fact that China has recently blocked a number of critical minerals and rare earths from export, isn't a great sign. But at least one mine is in Canada. I guess at this point we should probably describe what cesium is, since clearly it's not all that common. Found on the periodic table with atomic number 55, cesium is described as a soft silvery golden metal. Unlike most of its peers, however, it has a low melting point of just 28.5 degrees Celsius, meaning it gets liquid pretty quickly. And because of that, alongside its high density and low toxicity, it's used to support the completion of oil and gas wells at high pressure and temperatures. It's also used in atomic clocks and is used in GPS's, aircraft guidance, and telecommunications, among other uses, meaning it also has military applications. As per Patriot and production statistics, deposits of cesium are extremely rare. Deposits of the metal range from under 10 kilotons to 350,000 kilotons, but are economic at this size due to the metal being priced at about $2,500 an ounce, which is similar to gold. So, where does this leave Patriot and the development of Shaakichiuwaanaan? Well, obviously, lithium is going to remain the primary focus here. The project to date still just has lithium resources, but those resources are large enough that the project as a whole has an after tax net present value of $2.9 billion and an IRR of 34% based on a PEA completed last year. So, respectively, cesium is never going to be the main focus here, but it could become a valuable byproduct. And quite frankly, given how few cesium mines exist out there, Patriot will probably use the cesium angle to secure some federal dollars to assist in the construction of the mine. Because let's face it, some metals are more critical than others, and in this environment, pricing and demand for lithium doesn't look all that attractive. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Guys, if there's stories you want us to cover, please let us know in the comments section. Thanks for watching, everyone.